Welcome back, friends and families, to SIPPS lesson number 30 with me. Let's go ahead and get started with our spelling sounds.
My friends, for today's lesson, we have one new spelling sound that we are focusing on today. There are two ways to sound this out. Our first sound is oo, like hoot, and second sound is kind of like in book. Alrighty, first sound, oo, second sound, Great job. Let's go ahead and review our older sounds now. Read, first sound, O, second sound, ow. Great job. Read, O. Read, A. Read, A. Read, or. Read, 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 read.
Okay, friends and families, we are going to be moving on to the mixed list of words and syllables. So let's go ahead and take a look. We have our words on the left side, and then we have our syllables on the right side. Everything that's underlined in blue is our focus sound for today, just like we practiced earlier with our spelling sound cards. And anything that's highlighted in orange are our older sounds that we are going to be reviewing. So let's go ahead and begin. Underline sound. Second sound, ow. Remember, with an O-W, it can be either O or ow. So it's going to be ow. Think, read, town. Underline sound, ooh. Think, read, cool. Underline sound, O. Think, read, loaf. Underline sound, It's going to be the second sound. Remember, when we have the spelling sound, O, it can be either oo or Ready? Underline sound, Think, read, hood. Underline sound, O. Think, read, coal. Moving on to our syllables. Remember, our O spelling sound has two ways of sounding it. So, first sound, ooh. Think, read, ook. Second sound, Think, read, ook. Moving on, underline sound, O. Think, read, oat. And you can kind of see that in a word like growth. Ready? Underline sound, O. Think, read, hoed. This is going to be, so remember, the spelling sound O has two sounds. This is going to be the first sound. Think. I want you to think about the first sound, what that first sound is for O. Ooh, great job. Underline sound, ooh. Think, read, tune. Underline sound, O. Think, read, oaf. Fantastic job, my friends. Let's go ahead and keep going. Let's go ahead and begin our morphemic transformations, okay? We have a base word. So we have a base word, which is collect. Everyone read, collect. Now I'm going to add an affix. Collect, read, collect. Read, ing. Read the whole word. Collecting. Great job. Let's go ahead and keep going, my friends. Read, collect, read. It's going to make the ed sound. Read the whole word. Collected. Fantastic job, my friends. Let's go ahead and keep going. Read, collect, read, ibble. This is an irregular sight syllable. Ibble. Read the whole word. Collectible. Fantastic job. Let's go ahead and keep going. Read, collect, and this part right here, my friends, it's a little bit different, and it's going to remain a letter T, but our last syllable here is going to be an irregular sight syllable of shun, okay? So, read, shun, read the whole word, collection. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next base word. Read, live. I know there are two ways of saying this, but we're going to have our base word be live. Ready? Read, it's going to be the D sound. Remember, ED, the spelling ED has 3 different sounds, okay? It's going to be the D sound. So, read, D. Read the whole word, lived. Great job. I'm going to go ahead and put back our base word. Read, live. Read, ing. Read the whole word, living. Sometimes when we add suffixes like ing, we have to take away a letter from the original base word. Okay, let's go ahead and go back. I'm going to add our base word back. Read, live. Now watch as I'm going to add a prefix. Read, non. Read, ing. Read the whole word, non-living. Great job.
Okay, my friends, for today we have 3 new sight syllables. This is our first new sight syllable. Read, hood, spell H-O-O-D, read, hood. Kind of like neighborhood or childhood. Read, pass, again, pass. Kind of like pasture or passenger. Read, bade, again, bade. Kind of like invade. Now we're going to go ahead and review some of our older sight syllables from previous lessons. Read, med, kind of like medicine or medical. Read, ick, kind of like magic or tragic. Read, kind of like employ or empire. Read, ative, kind of like relative. Again, ative, spell A-T-I-V-E, ative. Read, tive, spell T-I-V-E, read, tiv, kind of like native. Read, give, spell I-V-E, kind of like, oh, sorry, read again, iv, kind of like olive or expensive. Mand, again, mand, kind of like command or demand. Read again, mand, meaning order. Dis, again, dis, kind of like disagree. Read, dis, meaning not. Read, cap, again, cap, kind of like captain. So read, cap, again, cap, meaning head. For example, if you are the captain of a team, you are the head of the team. Words like this with meaning help us figure out what a new word means because it has a base word root meaning.
Moving on to reading by syllables. Read, af, read, der. This is an irregular sight syllable here. Read, noon. Try for the real word, afternoon. Read, X. Read, ben. Read, sieve. And remember, my friends, the IVE syllable, iv, and the way you pronounce it is iv. That's an irregular sight syllable, okay? So now we're going to try for the real word. Expensive. Great job. Read, ball. Read, loon. Try for the real word, balloon. My friends, right here, this A, it changed from aw to and that's what we call a schwa, okay? The A here in balloon is a schwa because it doesn't sound like its normal short or long vowel sound. Let's keep going. Read, act. Read, tract. Read. Remember, we just practiced this irregular sight syllable. Iv. Great job. Try for the real word. Attractive. My friends, you'll notice that the A here went from sounding like a to a. That's what we call a schwa. And then we also have our irregular sight syllable there. So, remember, it's a schwa because it doesn't sound like its normal short or long vowel sound. A usually only sounds like a or a. But in attractive, the sound changed from a to a. And that's what we call a schwa. Alrighty, let's go ahead and keep going. Read, cook. Read, E. I know, this is super tricky, right? Try for the real word, cookie. My friends, so at the end here, this is going to make a long E sound because cookie has two syllables. So if we have a long E sound at the end and it's more than one syllable, we can also use the IE spelling to help us. Moving on. Read, un. Read, known. Try for the real word, unknown. Read, nay. Read, bore. Read, hood. All right, my friends, try for the real word. Neighborhood. Okay, so that's very tricky, my friends, so pay close attention here. Alrighty, my friends, this spelling might look very new to you, and that's because it is. When we have an E-I-G-H like that, that is a sound that shows up in a lot of English words. Kind of like eight or neighbor, neighborhood. All we know is that the E-I-G-H spelling, if we see that in English words, it usually makes the A sound. Okay? And that's very difficult, so don't worry. We are going to keep practicing that in the future. Now, you'll also notice that we did not say neighborhood. We said neighborhood. So, that sometimes we call that a schwa because it changes the sound. It went from or to And remember, schwas they just happen in words when they don't sound like their usual selves, which is a long O or a short O. So we call that a schwa. And then we have our last syllable here, which is an irregular sight syllable. Hood. Hood. That is an irregular sight syllable. Okay, let's go ahead and keep going to our last word. Read, read, scribe. Try for the real word. Describe. Great job, my friends. And if that was very scary for you, just remember we have the sk sound here, and we also have our long I sound there, okay? And we know also that usually if we have our syllable break right here, usually when we have a syllable ending with a vowel, it's typically a long vowel sound. So that's why it's describe. Okay, my friends, let's go ahead and take a look at our first word. You'll notice that I didn't write down our vowels or our consonants, but I'll tell you why. So go ahead and take a look. Do we have an irregular sight syllable in our word here? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Our irregular sight syllable reads toll. When we have an irregular sight syllable, we can easily put a dot right before it to split it because it's a syllable by itself already. So now we take a look at the other half of the syllable and we think to ourselves, does that make sense? So our irregular sight syllable is toll. The first syllable is rat. Try for the real word. Rattle. Great job. We didn't even need to write our vowels and consonants down because we have an irregular sight syllable and that already tells us where we need to split quite easily. And also, rattle is only 2 syllables, so when we have the word rat, we didn't need to split anywhere else. Moving on. Our next word. Do we have an irregular sight syllable? No, we do not. How many consonants do we have in between our 2 vowels? We have 1 consonant, and remember, my friends, when we have a VCV pattern like this, we usually try to split before the consonant, okay? And we can double check if that makes sense. Ready? First syllable, 2. And remember, if the syllable ends in a vowel, it's going to be a long vowel sound, okay? So, first syllable, 2. Second syllable, lip. Try for the real word, tulip. Great job. Moving on to our next word here. Do we have an irregular sight syllable in this word? No, we do not, my friends. Now go ahead and take a look. How many consonants do we have in between our 2 vowels? We have 2 consonants. Great job. Where would we split? Great job. With a VCCV pattern, we split in between our 2 consonants, okay? First syllable, L. Second syllable, bow. Try for the real word. Elbow. Great job. Let's go ahead and keep going. Taking a look at our next word here. Do we have an irregular sight syllable here, my friends? No, we do not. So let's take a look. How many consonants do we have in between our two vowels here? We have two consonants in between our two vowels. With a VCCV pattern, we always split in between our two consonants. First syllable, tad. Second syllable, pull. And you'll see that OE spelling right there. We know that makes a long O sound, okay? So don't get that confused. Don't forget that. Moving on to our next word here. Do we have an irregular sight syllable, my friends? No, we do not. So let's go ahead and keep going. How many consonants do we have in between our two vowels? We have two consonants in between our two vowels. When we have a VCCV pattern like that, we're going to split right in between our two consonants. First syllable, ear. Second syllable, rings. Try for the real word, earrings. Great job. Moving on. Ooh, this one is really big, my friend. So, Miss X is actually going to cover this up so that you guys are not overwhelmed looking at it, okay? So let's take a look here. But before I do that, do we have an irregular sight syllable in this word? No, we do not, my friends. Now, let's take a look at our first pattern that we do have, okay? Taking a look at this word right here. Do we have, how many consonants do we have in between our two vowels here? We have two consonants in between our two vowels here. So, remember, when we have a VCZV pattern, we always split in between our two consonants. Now we have to keep going, okay? You'll notice that we have a VCV pattern here. In this pattern right here, how many consonants do we have in between our two vowels? Yep, we have one consonant in between our two vowels. When we have a VCV pattern like this, we try to split typically before the consonant. Now let's go ahead and try reading our word by syllables. Ready? First syllable, N. Second syllable, V. Last syllable, lope. Try for the real word, envelope. My friends, don't be alarmed. We have a schwa right above the E in the second syllable here. Instead of it being B, it's actually V. So the sound changed from E to Our real word is envelope. Great job. Moving on to our second to last word on this page. And again, not to overwhelm you guys, so we're going to go ahead and cover that up. But before we do that, my friends, I'm so sorry about that. Do we have an irregular sight syllable here in this word? No, we do not. Now we can look at our vowels and consonants, and in order to not be overwhelmed, we're going to take a look at it chunk by chunk. We have our VCV pattern here. How many consonants are in between our two vowels? We have one consonant in between our two vowels here. Remember, when we have a VCV pattern, we try to split right before the consonant. Now, let's go ahead and move on to our VCCV pattern. How many consonants are in between our two vowels here? Great, we have two consonants in between our two vowels here. When we have a VCCV pattern, we try to split in between our two consonants. Now let's try reading this by syllables, and then we'll try for the real word. First syllable, you might think it's C, huh? C. Let's try that again. So this is actually going to be a short E, okay? So not a long E, it's a short E this time. We have to be flexible sometimes. Se. Second syllable, ven. Last syllable, teen. Try for the real word, 17. I know, my friends, that first syllable is really tricky, but we have to be flexible, okay? Moving on to our last word on this page. We have one more page. Do we have an irregular sight syllable in this word? Yes, we do, my friends. Actually, we have two. Our first irregular sight syllable is ner, and then our last irregular sight syllable is all. So, when we have irregular sight syllables like that, it's super easy for us to see where the syllable breaks would be. All is a sight syllable, and so is ner. So it's really easy to have them by themselves, and then it usually shows us where we're going to break our syllables up. So, first syllable, few, and this one follows our normal rule of the vowel being at the end of the syllable. So this one's normal. First syllable, few. Second syllable, ner. Last syllable, all. Try for the real word, funeral. Hooray, we are on the last page, my friends. So let's go ahead and take a look at our second to last word here. Do we have an irregular sight syllable? Yes, we absolutely do. Our irregular sight syllable is ter. Everyone repeat, ter. Great job. Now let's take a look. How many consonants do we have in between our two vowels? We have one consonant in between our two vowels. So my friends, remember, usually we try to split before the consonant. That's what we can usually do, but we also have to remember to be flexible, okay? And then because ter is an irregular sight syllable, it's important for it to be by itself. So that shows us where we can split our our syllables. First syllable, ter. Second syllable, ri. This one is really strange. Again, it's not going to be ri. It's not going to be a long I like our usual rule. It's going to be a short I. Ter. Second syllable, ri. Last syllable, fic. Try for the real word, terrific. Whew, my friends, I know that was a lot. Great job. Now we're on to our last word. You can do this. Let's go. Alrighty, my friends, do we have an irregular sight syllable in our last word here? We do not, my friends. So now let's take a look at our consonants and vowels. How many consonants do we have in between our two vowels? We have one consonant in between our two vowels. So let's go ahead and split right where our rule usually tells us to split. We would usually split right before the consonant in a VCV pattern. First syllable, A. This one is normal because our first syllable, it ends in a vowel, so then the vowel sound is going to be long. So this one is normal. This word is normal. First syllable, A. Second syllable, corn. Try for the real word, acorn. Great job, my friends. Now we can move on to our guided spelling. Alright, my friends, for guided spelling, we have 3 words today. Don't mind the extra numbers and lines here. Our first word is volume. Please turn down the volume. Say volume. Now, say volume by syllables. I'll say the syllables in a way that will help you spell. First syllable, ball. Please repeat that. First syllable, ball. We're going to go ahead and spell that out. That's a sound out syllable, okay? V, all. Now, our next syllable, yum. Which U sound? Yum. We're going to take a look. We're going to use the U-E sound under the picture of the mule. We're going to use the U-E spelling sound. So, U, and we're going to go ahead and write that in. Now, this is a part that I want you to pay attention to. I want you to underline your sound there. But also, our second syllable was yum. M. So we have the U sound, but we're still missing the M sound. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. First syllable, vol. Second syllable, Our whole word is volume. Great job. Second word, whisper. Please whisper when you are inside the classroom. Whisper. Say whisper. I'm going to say whisper by syllables in order to help you spell. First syllable, whis. That's a sound out syllable. So, we remember that that's going to be the WH. We've learned that before in the past, but we're going to bring it back up. So that first syllable, whis, is actually a sound out syllable. Now, our last syllable in the word whisper is burr. Burr. I hear a p, p in that second syllable, and then we have the sound, so we're going to use the ER spelling from the picture of the girl holding the bird on her arm. So we have we're going to use the ER spelling, okay? Whis, that's the first syllable. Oh, Miss X forgot to put the splits there. Whis, and our second syllable is burr, bird. Whisper. We're going to underline our sound there, which is the ER. We're also going to underline our WH sound. Great job. Now moving on to our last word, refuse. I refuse to stay outside. Refuse. Say refuse. Now, I'm going to say the word by syllables in order to help us spell. First syllable is re, and that's pretty much a sound out syllable. R. That's going to be represented by an R. Re. Second syllable, fuse. Now, listen. F, f, f. Re. It's going to be the sound in the second syllable is going to be represented by an F. But we're going to go back to our spelling sounds here, and we hear a long U. We hear a oo. We're going to use the UE spelling again. Take a look. We're going to use the UE spelling again, okay? We're going to pop that right in. And we're also going to go ahead and underline that sound, because we know that makes the long U sound. Re, first syllable, re, second syllable, fuse. Now, you might think that that Z sound is going to be a Z, right? But it's not. So be careful. The Z sound is actually going to be represented by an S. So go ahead and write it in. Refuse. The real word, refuse. Great job, my friends. Go ahead and take a look at what I've written down. And if your paper doesn't look like this, go ahead and cross it out and then write the correct spelling on top. I'm very proud of you all. I will see you in our next lesson.